Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. Today, we're going to be talking about this creature, American critter that is so scary, that is also seen in American folklore. That is the Belled Buzzard. Now, here's the question. Is it real or is it not real? I personally do not believe it's real. But before I dive into all of that, will you please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications? It'll help a girl out tremendously. You have no idea how much it will help her out. Also, I have a merch shop for all your gear you can go find. You bring this from travel gear to whatever. Now, this is one of my 5 podcasts. Yes, I know 5. How many does a girl need? Well, besides the fact that I work 2 jobs, I'm really looking for a full time. So I can cut back some. And I really need a life. But anyway, I love talking to a camera. But with that being said, why don't I dive into the episode now, shall we? So, the belled buzzard is a fearsome critter in American folklore that is frequently cited as an omen of disaster by the sounding of a bell. Now, the animal is otherwise depicted as an ordinary buzzard, except with a bell affixed to it. So, the bell buzzard originated from its actual accounts of the turkey vultures being fastened with a cow or sleigh bells, and the belief that the belled buzzard was one of the continuous entities and not multiple birds that was common for a creature that rose to prominence in the 1800s. All through the turn of the century, 20th century. Now, the bell buzzard stories circulate principality in the southern U.S., and its origin is the coralism that is not enough sense to bell a buzzard. So, with that being said, let's talk about the early sightings, shall we? I'm going to do my best to keep a straight face and not laugh the whole time I'm talking about this, because I just don't believe it exists, y'all. I really don't. But anyway, there have been many reports of a buzzard with bells that appear as early as the 1850s in the state of Tennessee. I current I currently live in see about 40 miles out of Nashville. 40 minutes out of Nashville, that's all I'm saying. But anyway, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. With sightings of a bell buzzard that was likely drawn from multiple buzzards, eventually the determiner D would become the standard, largely replacing a plural form. Prior to the 1880s, and the bell buzzard would be often be sighted in West Virginia, Delaware, Georgia, and South Carolina, although it will be at Belled Buzzard's appearance in Brownsville during the yellow fever epidemic in 1878 with the first connected spirit to the animal that connected the animal with the national disaster. So, while earlier reports focused on a sporadic occurrence, the Brownsville case was the first to become widely cited. And it was from then on that the Bell Buzzard legend grew on to take more of a ominous tone. So, what about the prominence? Well, following the Brownsville case, several sightings of this buzzard have been seen in the 1860s exponentially. By 1885, the Bell buzzard range would expand to states of Maryland, Ohio, Kentucky, Mississippi, Texas, and even New York. So, and while most of these sightings made a mention of a sighting, those were elaborated further to reinforce the bell buzzard's reputation as a harbinger of doom. Now, headings such as a bird of an evil omen, disaster feared coming from a belled buzzard, or other comparable titles readily attested to the bell buzzard as a precursor to calamity. Surprised no one did try to bring this up whenever COVID was happening. Now, the content of the articles were no less explicit on the point of a reference to a Delaware ledger openly related, and we most certainly hope that the bell buzzard that has been so frequently of our exchange will not be locate this section, and might be a forerunner of cholera, whereas Nebraska cropped simply noted a buzzard with a bell on its neck is frightening, and of Maryland, and there takes the angel of death. So, what about some of the claims? Well, there have been many claims recalling this, regarding this, and its capture or death, or either of the Belled Buzzard were not uncommon. Now, given many descriptions of this, fasteners used the Belled Buzzard themselves. It is sensible to conclude that these reports reference different Belled Buzzards. However, neither the presence or other claimants continue to report sightings brought forth in such no claims. Now, an early report of a buzzard may have been belled out of Missouri. Was made in 1881 despite the lack of bell buzzard sightings reported in the state at the time. And again, an article on May 5th, 1900 reported that the Georgia veterans J.L. Carroll, H.C. Davis, and G.K. Smith, while stationed at Tallahassee, belled a buzzard in 1863. The article elaborated that the buzzard captured at Fort Gaines, Georgia, was speculated to be the same bird due to the alleged similarities in a bronze bell and a letter collar used, and still the dating of this purported belling have been nearly a decade since the first bell buzzard sighting in the 1850s. But in fact, if in fact this claim was legitimate, the bird catcher certainly would not have been the original belled buzzard. Even more elaborate was an article called The Aged Buzzard Thought Dead by Warren Sheaf. It not only claimed that the bell buzzard was thought to have died after escaping entanglement from its leather strap, was a sleigh bell that had been affixed, but adding to the bell buzzard had been a bell during the War of 1812. It was present at like a big engagement since then, and notwithstanding the article, the Belled Buzzard has supported this as far south as Peru. What do y'all think? Do y'all believe the Belled Buzzard exists? I personally don't believe it exists, but it makes no sense because I do believe in ghosts and all of that. But anyway, um, that is it for this episode. Join me as we talk about in our next. Join me in as we talk about the Queen Charlotte, Queen Christina of Sweden, the Dollar Princess Jenny Jerome, and the legendary Georgina Cavendish. So why does name sound familiar? If you know your history, you know. If you know, you know. All right, I'll see y'all next.